Hello class, I'm Coach Tree, and today's video will be focusing on the major components of fitness. There's actually 5. Today we're going to be working on muscular strength versus muscular endurance. Throughout the week we're going to be touching base on flexibility, body composition, and eventually aerobic capacity. But forget those 3, but for today let's talk about the differences versus muscular strength versus muscular endurance. Okay? If you just think about the two phrases, muscular strength having to be like focusing on power, and then endurance focusing more on stamina, you have a good idea of how they're different. So I'm going to explain the differences and why they're important. So muscular strength is how much power you have for max effort, primarily for one time. Okay, so it's usually going to be an exercise that's really hard, and you're measuring how much strength you have for one effort. Okay, so right here we have a pretty heavy set of dumbbells, and if I'm gonna pick this thing up and if I bicep curl it one time, that is for muscular strength. Okay, muscular endurance is, like I said before, talking about stamina, talking about not as hard of an activity, but you're gonna be doing it for repeated time. Like if you're running and you keep running, if you are kayaking, if you're swimming, those are exercises geared towards muscular endurance. So I have these 2 lighter dumbbells, and if I'm doing a high reps, like I'm saying at 20, 30, sometimes I do a workout where I do 100 reps in a row. That's specifically training my body to develop muscular endurance. Because if I do this workout, it changes my body differently if I was doing the heavy weights. Okay? So if I'm training my body for endurance, it's going to perform better for endurance. If I'm training my body for max effort, do maybe 1, just 1, then I take a rest, I'm training my body for that max strength for 1 rep, then I get rest. Okay? So you may be thinking, well, I just want to get big muscles, so I'm going to do the max effort. That's true. Doing the big heavy weights or the max effort will change your body differently. As you may notice, like long distance runners or soccer players tend to be a little bit leaner because they're training their bodies for more endurance. Whereas maybe a football player who's on the line tends to be a lot larger because they get to use their max effort pushing the other team, and they may get a little bit of rest. However, the best athletes, I would say, have a combination of both. They have the power for explosive movement, strength. They got the ability to explode, but they also have the endurance that they can keep performing at that high level for a long time. Okay? So that's how I look at exercises. I specifically train for max strength. I also train for endurance. Like I said before, I want to keep being as strong and powerful as I just was my first part of the game as I am finishing the game. Okay? So be thinking about that as you are eventually going to be designing your own workout regimen. And is it going to be geared towards more power or more endurance? More strength, more endurance. Also, as I'm talking about you're young. Most of you guys are young teenagers. It's common to, if you go with too much heavy weights, it could have some negative effects. So you want to transition to it. Okay? Start with some reps that you can do for at least 10. Then taper your way towards the heavier weights. Especially if you're not warmed up. If you just go into the heavy weight and you haven't warmed up, you can tear something and have permanent injuries. Okay? I know a handful of people that grew a lot of muscle really fast, but didn't properly do it in a healthy way, and now they have permanent injuries. Okay? So if you want to be a pro soccer player, or you want to be focusing on those types of goals, you want to be focusing on having endurance. Okay? So be training yourself to be having strength for a long, long time. Stamina, right? Because you don't want to just go out there and get tired really quick. So, like I said before, some examples of this is for muscular strength. Sometimes you're helping your parents move something heavy in the house. That would require more on the strength side, right? I have a giant piano, okay? I needed max strength to move the piano a few feet. However, if I'm going to be having my arms around my head and I'm installing shelving and I'm hammering all day long, that's going to require endurance, right? So these are very practical for just being healthy and having a good, healthy lifestyle. So they're both good, they're different. So the muscular endurance, like I said before, is stamina related. So repeating it, similar to running or long distance activities, whereas muscular strength is max effort for one powerful movement, okay? So that's your questions. Hopefully it does. If not, ask me questions in the comments and let's get better together.